I'm John, and tonight I want answers about North Korea and the Healthcare Act and the Gannet. There's no stopping us now because we're live.
John wants answers. Give John answers.
I hope they're playing it. I can't hear anything.
Yeah, they're not playing it.
They're not playing it?
Of course they're not playing it.
Check your calendar.
Yeah,
If it says...
You can fix that in post, can't you?
No, this is live, man. We can't. There's no post.
There is post, because you post the show. That's where the word post comes from. You post the show to various
But right
sites.
now, people are seeing my show, and it's not post.
No, they're
right
not,
now.
because no one can watch this because you screwed up the website. So everyone
No.
is watching this later.
On Facebook.
And by later, you will have fixed this, right?
People are watching this on Facebook. No. What you saw is what happened. Check your
Well,
calendar.
that's always true.
Check your calendar. If it says July 13th, 2017, then we're live. And if you see this, on YouTube tomorrow, it'll be the 14th or
we
something.
were live. Trust us.
My guest tonight is Keith Stattenfield. He's my guest tonight because
Yeah, no one else would come. No one else would come.
he was available.
Yeah, there was one time you got a cobbler because I was out of town.
Yeah. We'll be taking your tweets. You can tweet us at John Wants Answer. There's no S on the end.
No S.
And then later in the show, we'll be reading your tweets to everybody, and then not necessarily making fun of you, but
Most likely.
discussing what you said in a lively manner.
Yeah, most likely making fun of you.
If you don't like Twitter, I don't like Twitter,
No one does.
go to johnwantsanswers.com and click on the contact link, and then I'll press buttons here, and I'll see your message anyways, even if it's not on Twitter.
I have to fix my collar again. Because
Again?
it screwed it up.
In the time that we started between then and now.
Like when I was in the other room trying to get you going for this show.
Oh yeah. Well, I have a card here that says now we're live on Facebook Live, which we are.
Okay, I'll check.
If you click on the website, I'm not sure if it's going to say, here I am. So this is a terrible day for things to screw up because someone came all the way here to the show live to see how the show is made,
Oh, yeah, you're right.
to learn how to make their own show.
Oh.
And then already we're screwing up.
We have
left and right.
disappointed an actual person.
Yeah, but let's not screw up anymore. We have tips.
Okay.
If you want a successful show,
Yeah, don't do what we do.
it should be,
We are not a role model.
but we do know how to name a show. It should be your name followed by a verb,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
John wants, you can just get an answers.
Yeah.
And then Keith, you have a
Keith
show,
explains.
Keith explains.
Yeah, with an exclamation point after the explains.
I don't have exclamation point.
I know.
I'm not excited about my show.
Well, with good reason.
The opinions stated here are my own and not necessarily those of my company. So my company thinks I'm doing a professional job here. Not
Wow, really?
because I don't think, right? So they must think. Is that how it works?
Yeah, I don't think we're live on Facebook.
On Facebook. No, we should be live on Facebook.
I don't think we're live on Facebook.
Oh,
I'm
did I
looking
not
at the
press-
Facebook page.
Did I not press that button either?
I'm just saying.
There's another button I had to, maybe that was a problem.
Go live. You didn't push the go live button.
I pressed the go
Someone
live.
in the booth push the go live button.
Okay. Okay.
Again, we're going to fix all of this in post, people. By the time you see this show, you won't see any of this.
Okay, so let's see the topics tonight. Tonight we have North Korea, Canadian wildlife, dying, insects of Asia, things that are dope, and creepy or hilarious.
Yes, it's always the last topic's always creepy or hilarious.
Okay, so
Oh, by the way, what's your address? Like your home address. Like where should they send the lawsuit? Like what address?
we're not gonna- we're not gonna
a
help them out.
process. The process server can look it up, but you may as
Okay.
well tell them, make it easier.
So which one are you picking?
North Korea. I think.
For how
I know several things about North Korea.
North Korea for 200. Visiting North Korea.
Should have said for 200, but that's what I meant. I'm not good at Jeopardy.
I'm imagining the sound effect is happening.
Yeah, but it's not the Jeopardy music, people.
No. We had that professionally made ourselves.
Yes, we did.
So, this guy, Otto Warmbier.
Yes, Otto Warmbier. Otto.
Otto. Yeah, like the bus driver in Simpsons.
I don't think that's who he's named after.
No?
I doubt it.
That show's been on for a long time.
It's okay. It could be who he's named after.
Okay. But we're getting sidetracked. He was an American student detained in North Korea for over a year.
Yes.
And he came back in a bad condition.
Yes, in a coma.
Yes. And then they
he died.
decomaed him and he died.
I don't think they decomaed him. I think
They
went straight from coma to dead.
Did they impress or unplug the thing that kept him in a coma?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. Either way, tourists, North
Sad.
Korea.
First of all, sad. Everyone.
Tragic. Terrible. What's there to see in North Korea? Like, why would you visit North Korea?
Well, I mean, it depends on who you are. I mean,
Okay.
like if you were a spy, you could see starving people and presumably small numbers of people working on nuclear weapons and ICBMs and a very large army.
Or let's say I'm not a spy. Let's say I'm just a guy, a photographer.
Then you would see,
want to take pictures of stuff.
Potemkin villages built to make you believe that North Korea was great.
Mm-hmm. Okay, but there's not.
And a lot of palaces.
Are there tourist attractions?
I don't think so.
Roller coasters?
I mean, again, definition of a tourist attraction is really up to the tourist.
Yeah. What was he doing there, Otto?
He was on a tour of North Korea.
Uh-huh.
One of those, hey, you can go really crazy places like North Korea and tour and see touristy stuff. And none of your friends will have gone to North Korea, so you'll have something to talk about.
Exactly. So American citizens, they're allowed to visit North Korea, right?
Barely, yes.
Yes.
Like it's not illegal to go there, but the State Department's website is pretty clear in it's a bad idea if you go there.
Well, how about, like, for example, Cuba? We're not allowed to go there, are we?
Now you're allowed to go to Cuba.
Well, now we are.
I mean, for a long time, you were allowed to go to Cuba, you just weren't allowed to spend money there.
How would you go to Cuba and not spend money?
Good question.
Maybe if you had, like, an aunt or uncle.
Correct.
And you stayed on their couch.
Yeah, you'd visit family.
And, yeah, you ate their food.
Yeah.
And didn't take...
Yeah, technically you were supposed to spend American money in Cuba.
What?
And then you couldn't go directly to Cuba from America. You had to go through some other country.
Like Canada.
Canada or a bunch of countries in South America.
Can you spend Canadian money in Cuba? Let's say you had a Canadian bank account.
You could, but I think legally, if you took American money with you to Canada, and then you said, please take this American money, give me Canadian money, and then you flew to Cuba, I think they would catch on.
Okay.
Like I don't think that would have fooled anyone. Like if you live in America, then you apply and emigrate to Cuba. Then you apply and emigrate to Canada. And you live in Canada for maybe 15 years. You marry. You have a couple kids. You have a job.
Well, this is like a long game.
With moose. And then you go to Cuba, right? They would probably be like, okay, that was Canadian money. That's okay.
Okay.
But
what if you just visit Canada and then trap a beaver and sell its pelt for like $1,000 and then use that money?
Is that what beaver pelts are worth? I mean, I've heard Canada doesn't have a lot of industry, but that's crazy.
That's big money.
I mean, beavers are tiny.
Well, yeah. I mean, to make a coat, you need a few of them.
Yeah.
That's why a coat is $3,000. Each one's $1,000.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't buy fur, but that's what I'm told it's.
I'm gonna buy some land in California and start raising beavers. I'll need a stream.
If you want, well, you probably should go to Oregon for that.
I think so. Yeah, they have a lot of streams in Oregon.
Are there any countries that Americans can't go to?
I don't think so.
So we're legally allowed to travel the world.
I think there are a lot you shouldn't go to.
Well, we can't spend money in. Well, we couldn't spend money in Cuba. We can't spend money in North Korea.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Now clearly, you have to pay to go to North Korea, and I'm sure you bribed a bunch of people, but I don't quite know what you pay for in North Korea. Because they have no capitalistic system.
So everything goes to the government, which is what the deal is. You can't give money to the government, I guess. Yeah. Somalia. Now, that's a place you probably don't want to go to, but it's totally legit to go there?
I think so.
Okay. So there's been a lot of talk about whether America should ban travel to North Korea.
Really? Who said this?
Government people.
Okay. Didn't they all get fired?
Well, why did they get fired for that?
Well, just because we're shutting down the State Department.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. You know who goes to North Korea all the time?
Dennis Rodman goes to North
Rodman.
Korea. Yeah.
Crazy basketball player.
Yeah.
What's his deal?
Crazy former basketball player.
Former basketball player,
yeah.
but currently crazy.
Yes.
Yeah. Why does he want to go there all the time?
Because they treat him really well.
Oh.
Because the guy in charge of North Korea, likes basketball.
So when Dennis Rodman goes there, he doesn't spend a dime, right?
I don't think so.
So he
Probably
just
stays in great
he's
places.
the guest of
the
the government,
Yeah.
but not spending money. So that's
Beloved
legit.
leader.
So in addition to North Korea, what are countries that Americans should avoid? Like I mentioned Somalia. Probably
Well,
Congo.
I mean, it depends on. There's just so many reasons to avoid so many countries. Like if you go to Europe, you're just going to be berated.
And the gypsies.
You know, people will just ask you questions like, what were you people thinking?
Whenever I encounter a foreigner, I
Yes.
try to communicate to the foreigner that the country elected Donald Trump, but keep in mind that most people didn't want him to be
The
president.
majority didn't vote for him.
Yeah, we're as horrified as they are.
Doesn't cut water.
Yeah.
I don't know why I said cut water. I mean, it's not hard to cut water at all.
Is that a new expression? I haven't heard that
I don't think it
expression
is. I mean, I just made it up.
before. All right,
All
so
the kids are going to be talking about water cutting tomorrow.
that's North Korea visiting.
Yeah,
Let's see the
points do I
topic
have?
board again. Let's see what else we have. What's the next one you want to pick?
Well, probably North Korea for 400.
North Korea for 400.
I'm on a roll.
Okay, North Korean missile.
Oh.
Okay, we're not doing that sound happen. North Korea.
Sued for that sound.
They're like testing missiles left and right.
Well, not left and right. I mean,
Okay.
every couple months.
Well, I mean, they can't aim very well, so it's left, a little right.
We don't know that they can't aim very well. We would like to think they can't aim very well, but
So, do they have one that can reach America?
depends. Yes.
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 So I heard
Almost
like
certainly they have at least one intercontinental ballistic missile which could reach some places in North America.
I heard mostly talk of Alaska,
Alaska.
and Hawaii.
Possibly Washington State, depending.
I've heard
It turns out the North Korean government doesn't release specifications on how good their ICBMs are. So we have to guess.
they just show pictures of it taking off and not
Well, then
exploding
we
immediately. on
presumably
takeoff.
have lots of satellites that watch them the whole time.
Oh, okay.
And then we can predict based on how much fuel it seemed to have and how much power it expended going where it was, where it could reach if they decided to actually want to hit something with it as opposed to dumping it in the ocean.
I've heard experts
Experts.
say that it could reach San Francisco.
Wow.
Which I think in a previous show on KMVT, I heard that you want to get hit right away, so you don't have to live in the.
That's true. Yeah, yeah.
nuclear
You don't want to
apocalypse.
live in a horrible nuclear. I mean, one nuclear bomb. That's more of a Russia decides to wipe out the U.S. thing.
If a bomb hit San Francisco,
Yeah.
you want to be in San Francisco, not Sacramento.
Yeah, not San Jose. I mean, it's not going to
Well,
kill
how
us
big-
down here.
How big is a nuclear?
Well, the
bomb?
fallout would head eastward, but the blast isn't going to affect the South Bay.
Oh, really? How big is a blast? Like 10 miles? 5 miles?
Yeah, I mean,
Oh.
not 45.
I thought like growing up it was like hundreds of miles.
No. I mean, the nuclear fallout would be terrible.
Okay. So you'd
And
be
it's-
zombies.
Turns out if you took out San Francisco, that's just going to screw up traffic for years.
We just wouldn't go that way.
Nah, you think that, but it would spill over to here.
What other countries would they want to send missiles to?
Well, they're not big fans of Japan.
No? Why
No.
not?
Well, they did have that big war.
The Korean War? Or did Korea
when
and Japan have an
Japan
actual war?
occupied Korea during World War II.
Really? Well, I didn't.
Yeah, it was a big thing in
We
the
didn't
book-
study
in the history
that
books.
part.
No,
in
not
history.
Canada.
In Canada, we all talked about how
Canada saved
we won
everything.
World War One.
Yeah.
With our little rifles that we invented or something.
Okay. Good to know.
Now, America though has a plan. They have a defense against a North Korean missile attack.
Supposedly.
Isn't that right?
Supposedly.
They can shoot them out of the air.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Well, it's never worked before. I mean, we've never actually shot a actual missile aimed at actual America out of the air.
I thought we
before.
tested. We launched a
We've
missile. and
tested various
that we
things. So, like, hey, if we knew where the missile's going, we think we could shoot it down. But that's not quite as true.
and those tests are based on us knowing when we're firing the missile.
Well, to a certain extent, yeah.
So if they randomly, like
And
they
even
wouldn't call
so,
us first and say,
they're not 100% accurate even when under the best conditions?
So I've heard talk of more sanctions against North Korea,
Yeah.
which is a weird thing for me to hear because I'm always hearing of more sanctions. Like, what could there be left?
Well, they've also lessened sanctions in the past.
Oh, they have.
You know, they have the U.S. and Australia and a bunch of other countries agreed to send a bunch of food there if they agreed to stop making nuclear weapons or making nuclear power plants. And that worked for 7 or 8 years, and then they
Didn't mean nuclear power
decided we
plant?
would like to make nuclear power plants again. And
So we stopped giving them
China comes and goes with how much trade and other things are willing to do.
food. Right. Okay. Well, that's that topic. Let's see another topic now. Okay. What do you pick next?
Well, get Canadian wildlife for 1,000, please.
For 1,000. Okay.
All right, for 200.
For 200. All right. Let's see it. Let's see Canadian wildlife for 200. The gannet.
The gannet.
The North Atlantic gannet puts a lot of artistry into its flight, but it's the bird's unusual diving skill that's important for survival. Because the gannet's food is the fish in the sea below, it dives into the ocean from as high as 80 feet. Like many other water birds, it has inflatable pockets of air under the skin. But on land, its easy grace is absent. These rocks at Bonaventure and the cliffs of other islands off Canada's east coast are the nesting grounds of many thousands of them. For a more complete story of the gannet, why not contact the Canadian Wildlife Service in Ottawa?
And we're back. And we're going to take your tweets. And I'm loading the tweet machine right now. New tweets. Look at this. Wow, we got a lot of stuff to go over here.
Hey, watch. I told it to notify me when we go live. So this way, next time, I'll get notified just before we start the show, whether we're live or not.
That's good to know.
Technology. It's magical.
John Thompson
John Thompson.
sent me this information.
Okay, not a fake name.
Now, in San Francisco, we almost had the worst airplane disaster in history.
Yeah.
On
yeah.
Friday.
Well, yeah.
So this airplane,
Canadian plane.
Air Canada, it's like going to land at San Francisco, right? Coming down. It thinks it's on the right runway. It's not aiming for the runway. Apparently, it's aiming for the
thing next to the
taxiway.
runway.
There's like 3 planes waiting. So it's like almost going to crash into these 3 planes. And then the people on who are taxiing go to the tower and say, hey, I think this plane's coming straight for us. You should check that out. So the tower said, hey, you should probably lift up and turn around. So within 100 feet, I'm told, witnesses say, within 100 feet, they
Well, he
kind
got
of get
to like
goes up.
around 100 feet. I mean, he might have started before that. Because it turns out it takes a little while for a plane that's on an approach to kick the engines back up
Right.
and start.
So a guy at work,
Yes.
Adam Elliott, was on that plane.
Wow.
And I talked to him today. And I said, what was it like? And he's like, we didn't know anything happened
Yeah, that's how it always is.
until we read about it 3 days later in the news. In fact, he didn't read about, well, he read eventually. His mom called him on the phone and like, hey, son, did you know that your plane almost crashed and everyone almost died?
Should have given you vouchers.
It's like, all he knew is that they were, he was
just knew
pissed off.
He just knew they went around.
He was pissed off because they lost his luggage. They left it on the tarmac
I
in
don't
Toronto.
think it's related.
It's not related. So then, but he didn't know anything. No one knew
I don't-
anything went wrong.
Like
It just-
maybe at the bottom, like the luggage hold, they started to open the door so they could quick unload, and just like his bag just.
So the captain didn't inform anyone anything happened.
No, that's
They
not
said,
the-
"Oh, we're going around
that's-
for
that's not
another
the manual. That's not
another
the manual.
approach."
Like
So
good news or bad news, everyone. We're arriving a little late. Good news, you're all alive.
for a moment there, could have been no more thermometers. But
He's the thermometer guy.
worked at the
I mean,
thermometer
you should-
company.
You should get a backup for him then.
We should. Okay. So another tweet.
Really? How is anyone tweeting? We weren't even live.
We have people tweeting from everywhere.
I do not believe it.
There are people who pre-tweet. Pre-tweet. John Thompson also said, "Can you get answers about The Rock running for president?"
Maybe he's running for president.
Seems unlikely, but that's what we thought about Donald Trump. So I'm not writing him off. But I don't know anything
Tall
more.
and muscular, so that's two things. They would be better.
Scott
I don't
Knapp.
know if he's any good at foreign policy or domestic policy, but that would be a wash. So,
Scott Canaster asks,
Scott Canaster,
Why
what happened to
is-
that guy?
"Why is there no S at the end?" S is for suck.
But that again, that doesn't explain why there's an S in the middle.
Oh, it's only that rule applies only for the last S, the end, the last letter.
But
Not the last S, but the last
yeah,
letter.
see,
Yeah.
John wants answer. John didn't want to spend the extra money for the S.
Scott also asks, "Does Keith have a second head under his hat?" What's with the hat?
No. Well, it's hair. It's the hair doesn't want to behave.
Oh, it's a bad hair day.
What I've heard from my many fans that contact me after the show is they say, "Great show, Keith. Why do you hang out with John?" And then they say, "The only thing, remember your collar and what's up with your hair."
Okay.
Yeah. So I'll put a hat on.
Someone pre-tweeted,
Tassel. See, look at the tassel.
"Is it really hotter this year?" It does seem hotter this
It
year.
is hotter. Yeah,
There seems like more heat waves.
Every year has been hotter than the year before, unless you don't believe in global warming.
But there seems to be, okay, every year we have like heat wave, right? It gets really, really hot for a few days and then it cools off. And that's maybe 1 or 2 per year. Already this year, I feel like we've had 2, maybe 3 heat waves where it's
Yeah.
like ungodly hot.
Get used to it.
Yeah? Is it going to be like a heat wave all the time soon?
No. I mean, the ice floes will melt and then we will all drown.
All right, so time for our next topic. Let's see the topic board. Which topic do you want to pick this time, Keith?
I want to pick things that are dope.
All right.
But I'm going to pick the healthcare thing.
Dying for 200. Healthcare Act.
Yeah.
All right. So, the Republicans vowed when they took over the country
Yes.
in January, the first thing they want to do on Inauguration Day was repeal Obamacare.
Yeah.
That didn't happen.
I mean, they voted to repeal it a bunch of times before that. So
Yeah.
how hard could it be?
They're-
Turns out it's really hard. Who knew how complicated healthcare could be?
Do people hate Obamacare but like the Affordable Care Act?
Yes.
There are people who are like that.
Yes.
These people don't realize it's the same thing, correct?
Well, no, they do, but they
Oh.
still.
Do they not like it because the word Obama is in it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's not perfect. There are things that could be improved.
Yeah.
They want to improve them, but they don't.
So there's a
They
new
just want to burn everything to the ground.
there's a new bill in the Senate.
Yeah.
Trying to get passed.
BCRA.
What does that stand for?
Better Care Reconciliation Act. Better Care something. BCRA.
No wonder no one's voting for it. It sounds terrible.
Yeah. Again, if you want a bill to pass, it's got to spell something, like Patriot Act.
Is
Like, who
Patriot
knows what Patriot Act
actually-
stands for? But it stands for something.
It's an acronym?
Yeah, it's an acronym.
Okay. But it has no cool name like Obamacare, so it's not
Well,
going to pass.
Obamacare is not called Obamacare. It's called the ACA.
I know. But does it have a nickname? Is it called
Trump Care. It's called Trump Care.
Okay. But Trump said it was
Or
mean.
it's really called Trump Don't Care.
Trump don't care. So Congress canceled their August vacation
Well, Senate. The Senate has said we're not going
Senate.
to take those 2 weeks in August off.
because
Because
we
it
need
turns
to-
out 19 weeks of vacation a year is too much.
Will canceling 2 weeks of vacation make them change their mind and vote for it?
Probably not.
So they're having problems voting for this, or getting enough votes for it.
Well, yes.
Okay.
They have a couple problems. Like, they haven't had any hearings, really, to speak of.
Now it already went through the House of Representatives, right?
Yes, but not this one. Like, the House passed their own bill.
A different bill.
The Senate was like, we're not going to, that's a bad bill. We're not going to cover that. So
they
the
did-
Senate made their own bill up.
Can
That's what
they
the
do that?
BCRA is. Oh, yes, they can. Yes.
And then do they go back to the House of
Yes,
Representatives
the
afterwards?
Senate would send their bill to the House.
Oh, okay.
I mean, really, yes.
So
I'm not going to go to the details. The Senate bill would get taken up in the House if
Okay.
it passed the Senate. And then the House would change it, and then eventually they'd have to have a conference committee of people from both houses that have to approve it, and then it'll have to go back to be passed in each house.
Wow.
Unchanged.
That's a lot of voting.
That's a lot of voting.
I read there are 52 Republicans
Yes.
in the Senate.
Yes.
They need 50 votes.
Yes.
But why was it the Democrats always need 60 votes to pass anything?
It depends on whether, if the bill can be filibustered, then you need 60 votes to allow it to proceed to the floor for a vote. And that's what the filibuster is. The filibuster is we're not even going to bring the bill up to be voted on till we get 60 votes. If you get 60 votes that agree to bring the bill to the floor, you still need 50. You need a majority.
Yeah.
In practice,
Presumably, all the 60 who
51 votes to pass something.
Presumably, the 60 people who bring it to the floor will also vote
then
to pass it.
Vote to pass. Not always, but yes, sometimes.
So is this not filibusterable?
They are bringing it up under a process called reconciliation, which
Okay.
is designed to apply to the budget.
Uh-huh.
And long ago, the Senate realized that just everything was getting filibustered. But the country has to have a budget so that you can spend money and pay for things. So they devised this somewhat arcane set of rules called reconciliation. And things that follow all of these rules do not need 60 votes to get brought to the floor. So they only need a majority vote, 50 plus 1,
Okay.
to pass. But they have to follow all these weird rules, like they have to affect money. There's a lot of rules.
A lot of rules. Okay. So are they playing shenanigans by using these rules to apply to this act?
Probably.
Okay. But so it passes that, and it goes back to the House again,
Yes.
and then maybe it will pass. Okay. What's our next topic? Let's see the topic board. What do you pick this time?
Oh, yeah, the same thing. Same thing. 400.
Dying for 400.
Dying for 400.
Okay. And the question is, who can I sue for dying? Okay. I've heard times where someone dies and a
Yes.
family sues someone else for wrongful death and they
Yes.
want money
Yes.
because that guy died.
Yes.
Who is allowed to sue on behalf of a
Well,
guy
the
who
dead guy
died?
isn't allowed to sue
Because he's dead.
because he's dead. Dead
Right.
people can't file suits.
Okay. So
So the estate can sue for the costs of like the burial, other things like that. And generally people like the spouse or the family or the kids can sue for the value they lost because this guy died and the person they're suing is responsible in a negligent-ish way.
okay. So if a guy down the street dies, I can't sue
Generally not.
because I don't have standing.
Yeah.
I'm not like people who would have been
Like
in his
he wasn't
will.
going to send you to college.
No. So you got to prove. Do you have to prove that I was going to be sent to college by this guy?
No.
Oh,
But,
okay.
you know, if you're a spouse, you can kind of show that, well, I had expected for the next 35 years that this person and I would be working together to make a family, and he would be working or she would be working, and et cetera.
Okay. Well, I think we're out of time now. So let's see how many points you got. I'll give you 200 for that and 600.
I got a lot of points. What are the points good for?
They're good for nothing.
Isn't there supposed to be like something at the end where
I'm going to give you 800 points.
Okay.
Our next episode is August 10th.
Okay.
Maybe we'll be live on the website.
Okay. I bet $1.
You're going to bet.
So I've got 799
We're going to take
points.
bets
I think
on
I
the
win.
website.
I win. No one has more points than me, so I get $5,000, don't I? Isn't that how it works?
No. Stay tuned for Deep Connect and then What the Bleep.
Okay. I should have read my contract, shouldn't I?
All right. Great show. High five.